Tammy, I have 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. Did everybody have a chance to review the previous minutes? Review the previous minutes. Was there any corrections or such?
I actually found none.
He says with a hint of surprise in his voice. Are you okay?
No, there was, all the Ds were for Todd's name were added. I mean, all it was.
There we go. All
I
right.
have a motion that we accept the minutes as presented from the prior meeting.
I will second.
Okay, hang on just a second.
Correct.
I'm not gonna call a vote because Terry did say she was walking in, but she had an adjustment. So
Just,
unless, if I call,
I said the golf carts go.
can you turn your mic off?
Oh,
Sorry.
I said the golf carts drive in front of, they cross in front of the country club.
Unless there's a tournament, then they drive up and down the road in front of it.
You did say that, you didn't.
Said that
I
they
said
cross.
Cross in front of the country club. You put that they drive. I just didn't want to make it sound like they drive on the road in front of the country club. 'Cause it's a
do.
crossing.
They do. Absolutely do.
Well, not
They're not supposed to.
country club. The country club has a crossing there.
Right.
Play the ball across.
Thank God I haven't seen
Not
that.
intentionally. So you have that fix. So it's, they cross.
The new
Yep. So,
drive
correct.
in front of.
They have a crossing and yes.
Instead of drive.
So
Amended.
I'll make a motion to accept the amended meeting minutes for May 8th.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good.
Lance abstains.
Lance abstains because he was not here that day.
Correct.
Vote passes 4-0. We will skip finances for tonight. Because I do not have an updated report and they're not here at this time. So we will jump to visitors. Ms. Montague is the top of the list. Come on up, that's you. Come on up here and jump in the hot seat. And there's a little button in the center that says push, and the green light will turn on when it's hot.
A little button that says push.
Is the light on?
Push. Yes. No, it's not. Trust me. There you go.
I can't see from my angle. All right,
Thanks, and thanks for having us up front. That's cool. We are just looking for some information on what it might take to have Sunset View Drive be a town road.
Is that about a quarter mile long? Maybe,
Give or take.
yeah.
how many residents do you know?
There's 9 houses.
That's including David Hall and the trail.
Okay,
Everything else after that.
Right, this is
New,
the entrance,
Which they all have an easement in.
Yep.
And this just got sold, Landon Bonk owns this now, but the
Okay.
easement's built in, so this road here,
Okay.
I believe is still owned by David Hall.
no,
No, it's,
The
Isn't
deed
it-
goes to the center, I don't think the deed goes to the center. Anyway,
I see what
that's
you're
like-
saying.
it's not owned by, what's his
If it's a
name?
private road, it goes to the
It's not.
center. If it's a town road,
No, David owns a
it'll
road.
go to the right of way.
part of our deed tells us that the residents, with the exception of David Hall and what would be my father,
Right.
are omitted from paying for repair and snow plowing of the road. That's the way our deed reads.
Okay,
That you own to the center of the road.
No, it reads that they have an easement across his property.
I mean,
So you got
turn your mic on, James.
written consent to do this.
Who's David's?
Yes,
Oh,
the
David.
owner of the
He
easement.
sold that.
David just so,
Okay.
so,
Well, my question is this, and I don't know if you know the answer or not, so with that being sold. Is it now? Landed bank? Or is the road?
Depends on how
separate?
Landon bought it.
Yeah, I don't know the answer.
You'd have to read the new deed, but usually an easement like that will go with and follow the deed.
But only across where he sold. Landon Bank bought that property. I don't think he bought the whole road. I think the deed, but that's something to check out.
No, the easement only applies to the property it crosses. As soon as it crosses, it becomes communal property.
I don't, not unless it's deeded to the center of the road.
No, it's an easement.
It's not a road, it's a driveway. At this point right now,
Lots.
doesn't matter. At this point right now, it's not a road, it's a driveway.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so the civil property has an easement across it.
They do,
Yes,
but it'd be great if they owned the center.
they don't.
No, I know. So David Hall, I think, still owns that strip.
No, the new property owners, it goes with the new property owners. You just said David Hall sold that, correct?
He sold
Yes,
it.
Yeah.
Unless it was specifically outlined in the new purchase agreement.
Right.
Which is something that's documentation you'd have to find.
If he sold it, David Hall, is entirely out of it.
Right. If it went with the parcel that Landon bought,
What he sold.
You have to see the new deed to see how it's written, correct?
So are you saying?
In the new deed.
No,
no,
Just to the border.
just to the border.
Just the border.
After that, you'll have to check with the deeds, but after that, I'm assuming it's a communal property. You have a communal agreement for road maintenance and repair and plowing, correct? Yes.
Yeah.
So is everyone looking to have it changed?
I've pretty much talked to just the neighbors informally. And I said I would come and we'd get some facts and figure out if it's possible, and if it is possible, what we need.
Yeah.
So
what
I,
we have to do and what the cost associated with having to do that.
Right.
Yep.
Or is it not?
so
And check the town standards for roads
Yeah.
and make sure they meet.
so,
Sure it does, but.
yeah. I mean,
Who could give us that map?
Matt could give you the standards for the roads, I believe, for each classification. Obviously, we would want this at what, a class 3 Mac at minimum? I mean, which is your standard back road. We would need to know the width. Yeah, if you want to pave it, yep, that's up to you too, but it would, I believe. This is not set in stone, and I believe it would have to be at that standard before we took it over.
Correct.
Yes.
But I don't want to speak on any, like, yeah, this is something, or until we look into it with League of Cities and Towns, zoning bylaws, and make sure that we know who owns what, where property lines are, and the dimensions of this road.
I believe before you can even consider for the town to take it over, it has to meet all the standards for a class 3 road. And you would be responsible for bringing that road up to the class 3 standards before the town took it over.
Yep.
and we can find those online or.
Yeah, there's a copy of road standards here somewhere.
Okay.
I've got an old one, but I don't have it with me tonight.
Okay. So we will look at the road standards. We would be responsible for bringing it up to the road standard if it's not already.
Mhm.
But then the board will look into the whole deeded piece of that, or we should do.
No, that would be you guys as well. Yep.
So we should figure out how to look at the new deed for Landon.
Has this been, I'm assuming since it's fairly new subdivision and everything, it's probably all surveyed, correct?
Correct.
So,
Had a picture.
yeah, that's what I figured. I was just looking to see who we're Rumry. Land survey?
And if your deeds say to the center of the road, you would have to concede. Upon transfer to the town system, you would have to concede that the town has a 3-rod right of way. Which is basically 25 feet either side of center.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just looking at this map real quick, it looks like everything comes up and then the road is a separate parcel.
Yeah.
Not 100%, just looking at this map, that's what it. And this one obviously is not separated. That's the part by Halls. That runs between Halls and Leady's. That part looks as though it's a dotted line. You were given a right of way through there, but the other part looks like it's actually on. It would be Snow's property. And does he own the big parcel, the 7.6 acres in the middle? Snow?
Snow. Does he have one more lot there?
So you have, so these are your properties here. Well,
This is-
all the way, yeah, and then there's
1, 2, 3, which one are you referring to?
this big chunk. 7.6 acres, because,
Sean.
No, yeah, this is the road, so I'm just gonna name off.
Yep.
This would be David Hall's.
yep,
This would be Stacy.
Yep.
Mhm.
This would be Mitchell's.
Yep.
This would be Ginger.
Yeah.
This is
Chuck,
Chuck.
Yep.
And then it goes over to your house from there.
Yeah, because see, the road doesn't go all the way, because
Right.
what it does is. it pulls
Let's
it
see.
back.
Right here. Hang on.
That's
Sorry.
me right there.
I got another one right here. Is that more accurate?
No, that's the same.
Oh, it shows the cul-de-sac, so I wasn't sure if this, is this Chuck here?
Common
Yeah,
area.
so there's.
So who owns this center?
Common use area.
There is.
Yeah.
Okay.
7, 8.
Okay, so that's.
Last, then we love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
This one here, that's how I just.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So this one up here in the corner actually comes like way back. Else, way
Yeah.
back, and this one goes over here. Just
Okay.
like that is.
So yes, okay, so yeah, you would need, I wasn't sure if that was
Yeah.
Snow's, because then you would obviously need permission, because
Yeah.
you're gonna need permission from both sides of the road.
Yeah, yeah.
Because, you know, if this parcel is, say, here,
Yeah.
you're gonna lose, yeah, you're gonna lose some here, and you're probably gonna lose some there, and everybody has to be okay with that, so. That's on, I mean, that's before. But-
Yeah, so everybody has to be in a.
Does-
Yeah, yeah.
does the road commissioner have any comments that he'd wish to put forth at this time? What's that?
Just for the record, Mac is saying we've never taken over a road like that. Since he's not on mic.
Well,
Okay, yeah,
it does open up some issues because if we allow this, you're gonna have areas like, for instance, what is it, Log Cabin Lane or something like that, who may try the same thing.
Paradise Lane,
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
several.
yeah,
Just a comment.
Birch Way. I was gonna say, you guys aren't a town road either, are you? You guys aren't a town road, no.
It's a difference. We have, fire hydrant.
That's the fire and water district doesn't have anything to do with the town. That's a separate entity.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll do some looking at the deed, the new deed.
Two questions. One. If it were hypothetically to become a town road. Is there additional taxes that are associated with it being on a town road?
You mean you wanna pay more?
No,
I mean, that's the craziest question I've ever heard, but sure, if you want to pay more, we'll take it.
Take care. But we'll be appraising next year, so.
Susanski. Would the fact that they have frontage on a town road change their property evaluation in any way? Okay.
No.
There's a
And then
lot,
the second question we have is, there's no sign for that road at all. Is that a town
Is it
thing?
private?
yeah, it's a town thing, yeah. Like, Paradise Lane, I believe that one has a sign, but I think they chipped in and bought a sign and,
It used to be one of the roads.
Yeah. Because it's a private road.
Been us, it would-
Anybody can name their driveway anything they want. So I mean,
So that's us to find. Right.
yeah, I'm sure if you talk with Mac could, could order it. And I mean, it'd probably be easier than, Really, you are just full of good news today, Mac. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Yep.
Find one in another town.
Yeah.
Hard to believe.
They still are too.
Yeah, find a Sunset Drive somewhere in another town. Pay the high school kids a couple extra bucks.
So last question that I have is,
That was a joke.
we had on a private road. And yet we had to pay a driveway.
What was that last one?
With any private road?
I believe so, yeah.
The question?
Private access.
The
grant.
private access. That one boggles my mind too.
That one,
Right, I mean, it's no different than a farm
right,
that has a road going to their house. And yet they cut into the woods, they put clear a clearing, so they can go to their house, a camp.
yep. That's a great question. That's a question for Brenda.
Be a question for her.
So it's just a question, yeah.
Yep,
Because it's not an insignificant amount either, that big. So
Write that down someplace and send it to me. I can do that research.
So you have to pay a private access fee
Yeah, so Matt came in.
every year?
Our driveway accident for it.
No, when they
So-
build. this. Okay. Even though they're on a private, road, they're not coming off the town road.
Okay.
was that something that was told to you by the zoning admin at the time?
Was here, yeah, I mean, I can't
Okay.
say. I never.
Okay, no, that's just,
We had to pay
that's,
before we could do it.
that's just,
Yeah, 'cause
It's
we're
like any-
approved.
right, but what he's saying is they want to make their driveway that they have now a town road, which means it wasn't a town road, which means theoretically, why would we have any say over what they do?
Why do I have to get a permit to put a deck up that no one comes out and inspects? Just.
Well, for
Gentlemen,
you.
sorry.
Yeah, no, I just,
It's on the property, why do I have to get a permit? Because it's a requirement.
Nobody came in and inspected.
Nobody, no,
right, but that's, yeah, but that's a,
it's the, I still have to
yeah,
finish it.
I don't know. That's a great question.
Just curious.
I can now.
An email, send it to Brenda. She will get you an email eventually. Eventually work, eventually.
I'll look into what it means to. Put the road into our. Inventory.
Usage, yep.
very good.
Any other questions? Perfect. Glad we can.
I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, we do limit our guests.
Anything we can help you with.
That's a different question. Thank you very much.
Up next. Up next, we have Linda and Parks, Trees. ECC establishment. Sure,
Town Commons.
sure.
I'm just pro, we don't have to. follow that button.
Where the $2,000 in labor came from, or what it's for.
I gotta
For
call
the school
Shane.
calendar.
No.
And he's actually really like to know the situation is with the town and the trees on the park section. That as the leaves came out, he saw that the tree that's in the right of way, the side of the fence.
Uh-huh.
At the park end, it really should be taken down.
Yeah, the one right, yeah.
This side or the other side?
Blue ribbon on it.
You have two out there with blue ribbon. Is it the one on this side closest to the town hall or the one on the other side next to the Hurst house?
It's the one on this side closest to the town hall.
Okay,
Okay, from
Yep.
this side of the fence.
Yep.
That
on the
is-
street side of the fence?
It's pretty barren.
It's pretty barren.
Okay,
He said that runs risk of limbs dropping. And inopportune time to get hurt.
I think the only live limb left is the one that goes over the road.
Yeah.
Right up the street.
Perfect.
So he would like to do that before the end of the month, cut those trees.
Is the
And
cemetery
he's
paying for
trying
it?
to set up a schedule He wants to know where the town is with.
It's in, that's the one that's in the town right away, correct?
It's in a town right away.
It's gonna be a road issue more than anything.
There's two more inside the park on either side of that whole pathway that need to be pruned.
Prune to remove, there's two removals and then two prunes.
Yes.
Yeah, there's some dead branches on the, yeah.
On an old one that needs to be pruned for the health future.
Mac, by any chance have you or Danny looked at this one out here to see if it's something? Yeah, the one just outside the door here. No, on the roadside.
Yeah, the electric line, I think, runs right by it.
You're talking about the one down further. You're
That's
talking about one
right there, Mac, right there. Looking at it from here.
It's got power line or something like that, doesn't it?
It's, yes,
Yep.
without the ribbon.
It's got blue ribbon on it now.
Oh,
Yeah.
it does? I'm sorry, I didn't see that addition. I looked at them the other day.
Yeah, we'll have to look at it. We'll have to look into it. We haven't.
So.
Are we taking it down or are we gonna have Shane take it down? I think it's really
I
bad.
don't think we've made that decision yet.
Yeah.
But he needs a decision so that he can schedule. We would like him to take the ones down on the cemetery end and prune on the cemetery end.
I think
Kind of before Memorial Day when we have a lot of people in there.
the major issue is the tree that we're discussing will require a road closure for a short period of time. So we'll have to schedule that, plan it, post it.
We did it last year when we did some, I think we did some pruning there. We just marked zero on top of the hill, we signed up and, you know, basically stop traffic while he was working there. Not being closer, it's not something to the top.
You can drop it and drag it down the yard there pretty shortly. If you have to.
Do we have a quote for this?
Yeah, it was in our email. What was it, 2150 per tree, or 2150 to get the two? Hang on a minute. Linda sent them along.
That was
Okay.
quite well.
It was good. Yeah, it was a few weeks ago.
Amy, you have that?
Pending,
Okay,
maybe it's in the pending file.
I thought that was for just, I thought that was the trees in the,
Well, it
in the
didn't
cemetery. I
include that.
didn't, yeah.
It did, but there was a, that's my memory, there was a per tree.
So Linda-
Okay.
Discussing. Yeah.
Is it like 1200 or something like that?
I don't remember, Linda. I'm trying to,
We'll see. We'll look.
Search for emails.
remember what date that was?
Go here.
What?
Let me see your technology, old man.
Yeah, Linda sends a lot of them, so.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, so.
Cutting trees and limbs. Has anyone noticed these giant, pine trees next door that are encroaching on that wall of the building?
Not our tree. I believe that's,
I know it's on their property, but the limbs are gonna be pushing the wall on this building. Take a look at them sometime.
I'll have to, I can't picture it right now. I'll have to look. Thank you for,
is that the
bringing
tree right
that up.
there? No,
There's
it's right here.
Oh, it's, oh.
Thank
oh,
you.
It's their tree.
And identify.
Wanted to remove 2 rotted maples.
Yeah, that's what I
Total
thought.
price to be pruned, the other 4 would be 1,400.
So it's 2,100 per tree.
2,100 for removal of 2
Two
rotted
maples.
maples.
Right, that's what I thought it was 21 or 2150 if I remember.
Okay, total price to cut the.
And what was the other part?
Removal of 2
1400
rotted
pruning.
maples. Maple Grove Cemetery.
Right.
1400 to prune. The other two trees.
Yeah.
For a total of 3,500.
Yeah, we'll have to,
Got that.
So basically it's 1050 to, from what I'm looking here, about 1050 to remove another tree.
What's that?
Can you, take a peek at that, Mac, and see if that's something that you and the boys can handle? And we'll respect your opinion if you want to do it and think it's feasible. Well, it's not the fence I'm worried about. It's the power line on this side of the road.
Right.
No, I'm talking about this one right here. That's the one where immediately.
The one with the Guide wire, you were gonna check with Green Power and see if they're gonna take it down.
On this side,
It's on the other side of the road.
So depending upon. Because they're trying to get this done. If Mac deems that he and his crew, it's not safe for them to take it down, then are we authorizing at least $1,050 to take down the tree by the road?
You gotta find 1,050.
You have one question. Are the trees that are being removed, I know you were grinding the stumps also, are they being planted back?
That's up to you.
No, they're in the cemetery. That's up to you.
The ones in the cemetery are gonna be.
Okay, that was the question. Yeah,
Okay. I thought you were talking about.
Nope.
on the
The
common.
common would be that.
the common would be up to us. Yeah,
I'm sure you could get people that would donate trees in memory of folks.
it's quite possible. Yep,
It's quite possible.
yep. Out of the right of way. Other side of the fence.
Yeah.
Aside from that.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
Makes sense. Yeah.
Because there's a problem too with the salt.
Yep. No, and the roots being stressed out by the road. Yep, there's,
I know this is a little off subject, but do they have to be maples?
well, it is Maple Grove Cemetery.
I'm just
Just throwing that.
throwing it out there.
It's not a random tree cemetery.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
Those are implants.
You want pine trees?
No, God, no. No.
Yeah.
There's six and maybe some.
Okay, so let's discuss that at the end.
Okay.
So I think I told you in the past, Nancy Hatch planted two out there at the front of the cemetery. And those are Green Mountain maples and foresters. You know what Green Mountain maples are?
Yeah.
That's no.
There's aces, right, in this area, we have ace that are native, indigenous to the area. We have Acer saccharum and Acer rubrum.
Yeah.
Which is sugar maple and red maple.
Correct.
These are different. These are.
That's not native to the area.
It's an invasive species.
No, it's more of a hybrid, so that it's not susceptible to the
Yeah.
canker and different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I've never.
They don't grow wild. It's an invasive.
Life and better health.
Hmm.
Don't argue with a forester unless you're ready.
What'd you say?
Well, that's
Green
why I
Mountain?
understand.
Green Mountain Maple. Huh.
And
That sounds like something they might have.
our county forester, so she should know that.
Yeah.
That's a good tree.
We putting it on hold for now.
Yeah, I think we've gotta take, maybe after the meeting in here, we'll take half hour and go out, observe the trees, we'll have the ribbons on them and try to make a decision. If we make a decision as a group tonight, I think that could be communicated via email pretty easy, of
I'm gonna throw this out.
course.
It's an issue of liability, not only for the crew, but for the infrastructure of the area, i.e. road and
Power line.
power lines, et cetera. And a professional might be the best route to take in this situation, in my opinion.
I agree with the one in the roadway, the
Yeah.
road right away. I'm
Yes.
wondering about the two on the common, if
I
they
think
could be
it's- I
removed.
think we're pretty well set on those. We can tug those down.
You got two there that need pruning and one that needs cutting.
I'm not doing any pruning. I'm beyond that. Thank you.
The problem with pruning is that's, I'm not so sure that's a fix as much as it is a Band-Aid.
Right.
Those trees are probably, love to see a cross section. They're probably 100 years old,
Oh, that's,
120,
that's a conservative
you
estimate.
think?
yeah.
Okay.
So the one that's in the right of way, if that was cut down, does that come out of the highway department's money?
That would be a road
Yeah.
expense, I believe. Yes, yep. But as far as the ones out there, it may be. It might be a better option to remove and replant. With a tree that's more vigorous and
Mhm.
healthier. Long-term solution instead of continuing to put money into the trees. I mean, they're beautiful, but. It may be time to, absolutely, especially if he's gonna come in and grind some stumps. If we were to remove those,
The stump grinding, what he was gonna do is rent a stump grinder.
Yep.
From Essex Rental. And come and do these.
They're about $300 a day.
yep, so No, what I'm saying is if we were to, if we were to remove them ourselves,
Right,
and when he comes in to grind them, it would be better to have him there to grind 4 stumps rather than 2 and then come back and grind 2 more, so,
exactly.
so.
And that price on the grinding was with, us doing the cleanup of the chips from the grinding.
Right, I think you said something about some folks may want the chips. Or make a pile and put it out to folks who may want the chips.
They try that.
I think it would almost be easier to put them into the bucket and dump them and be done with it rather than have a pile that we have to clean up in a month afterwards.
Whatever you want.
Okay.
Clean it up, get rid of it, but we will go out and observe those trees after the meeting, not after the meeting, but at the end of our meeting.
We'll come in and make a decision.
Yes.
We'll probably, yeah, I mean,
All right.
I don't know if we're gonna pause that or what we'll do, but
All right.
we can make decisions without the camera on. It has happened, it has happened before. I mean,
Used to happen.
even my day it's happened, so. All right, TCC establishment.
I had asked you to check with League of Cities and Towns because you're having difficulty with deciding.
Yep,
Right.
what did we find there?
League of City and Town said that we should not combine the 2 commissions. They should be kept separate. They can be under the same leadership per se, but they should be separate with separate funds assigned to them. You'd have to read the
Yeah, yes.
email. It went into the concern of how blending funds and such was a problem and.
They're
they wanted-
adjoining properties. It's,
I don't think they're looking at it as a geographical decision. It's as a hierarchy. Right? So now you could.
Decision.
Now you could, I heard someone make the discussion of potentially putting the town common and the Conservation Commission together.
that's what
because
we
they're
were
on the same
talking about.
part.
That's
Well,
what I was talking about.
originally, we were talking the cemetery and the town common.
Summer-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Town common.
I was under the impression we were talking about the
Oh.
Conservation Commission taking over. I missed
You missed last.
I missed
meeting.
last meeting.
I apologize. You missed last meeting. I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so the
We did
conversation.
talk about that.
we
We
did,
talk about combining the 2.
yeah.
Yeah, conservation and
Also making it where it would be like a sister to the cemetery.
Right.
But what,
So we wouldn't have
Our
to try
commission
to
would
get-
include the town common and town park.
Right.
which is still an option,
The cemetery.
the cemeteries.
right.
That's an
No.
independent organization.
No, that's all
But there's
separate.
been no discussion with the Conservation Committee
No.
about this.
As I said, I missed the last meeing. I apologize.
Because we
for my
haven't really
ignorance.
discussed it
And we've got
ourselves.
one person from the Conservation Committee
Right.
here.
So we went away getting the answers. This is the first meeting we have the answers. So we couldn't, we have to figure out how we want to proceed and then have the conversation with the existing committee and potentially the other, or the existing commission and potentially the committee that wants to be put together to try to unify. Because I will say this, attending the Conservation Commission's meeting last Thursday, last Thursday, a lot of the initiatives they have is somewhat what the town the town committee wants to do, the town park. You know, the beautification, the flowers, the things like that. That's already something that the Conservation Commission's trying to do, the BCC. So the question is, you know, do you collapse them into one? You know, rather than have 2 more funds running, put them into one and make a fund for it, or how you do it. That's really what it comes down to.
How many members are on the BCC?
There's only like,
Currently, there's only 5.
I was gonna say 5, I think, on the minutes.
Rules say 7.
Okay.
Nobody cares. Give the time.
So if there were people who were interested in the beautification of parks and stuff like that around town, they would be welcomed into the Conservation Committee if that's how the board thought would be best.
There's several people that give their time and help out, yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I know they were saying to me last week, they were trying to convince me to join. So I think they don't have a problem with increasing their membership is really what it is. It would help them.
I think the straightforward question is, Alice, would the Bakersfield Conservation Commission entertain the idea of taking over the town common and putting it under their wing? Okay.
But these two people right here. Work an awful lot of times in this side of the park, maybe they'd like to say something.
I think, I think, I think, I think, well,
It's not money, Lisa.
I think the question is, are you willing, would you be willing to join the Bakersfield Conservation Committee? Knowing that it would be basically the parks. At this point, I mean, if that's what if that's where your passion,
Those who would be defined.
Yes.
Take away the set.
right, the cemetery can't be part of the Conservation Committee, correct, by law.
Is the mission of the Conservation Committee to take care of town parks.
Right.
Because now you're starting,
Well, who's,
They already have a part.
you're doing the same thing, you're kind of putting a collateral duty onto your conservation.
Yeah, but the BCC already has a part.
Yes,
Linda, what do
By
we,
coincidence, adjoins the town common.
you don't want it to be a committee, what do you want?
I would like to establish
It's
a
separate.
park commission with a board of commissioners. And they could be part from the volunteers that worked out here last year, day after day, creating.
Do you know how hard it is to get anyone to run for anything in town?
Yes.
And now you want to take another committee
Do
together?
you know how many volunteers we had out there on the park? We had over 7, I think, right?
All right, now ask them if
And-
one of them wants to take leadership.
In budget, and
Well,
And plant a few flowers and actually taking leadership and controlling a budget are two different things. And I don't think they're looking to play that role,
My thought is that we already have a commission.
right?
It is doing a very similar job.
Mhm.
They have property and a small park right beside the town common. It only makes sense that we could combine these two areas.
I agree with you.
Okay,
every parcel of land doesn't need its own committee in the town. I mean,
it's,
Later, you worked at IBM too.
Yeah.
One doesn't know what the other one's doing, and we all work in the same way.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
Yeah,
I agree with what you're saying.
thank you.
And
so it's a matter of getting them together with
so I
us.
think what we should
Christine.
do is we should invite BCC. Invite BCC to the next meeting. And also any members that worked on the park beautification last summer and would be interested in joining them.
We would love to hear your opinions.
CPC has a lot more things they're interested in.
We absolutely, we understand that and saying that, you know, that's not, you can't do that anymore. That's not what we're saying at all. What we're saying is there may be another small group of people within the community that are really interested in focusing on the parks.
That you could designate to do that
Yep.
work,
right, they can make a subcommittee.
They can make subcommittees within their committee and
Right.
oh, we can have so much fun making committees.
5.
It-
And I'm sure there's 3 people in that group of volunteers, 7 folks that would step up.
We'll soon find out
We will soon find out.
when they put this committee together.
You just want somebody to handle the decisions and the money so that you can go out there and do the work.
Furniture plow.
Yes, I understand that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah.
And we appreciate
Revive.
your work out there. So
Both pieces of property.
Yep.
I agree.
And we did get a call from the folks in the conservation group that said, writing a grant for the town park, need to know what's going on with the town common,
Right.
because we need to be working together.
See, that would be so much easier if you were one.
Yes.
But
It would be so much easier if you were one.
it's so much easier if it was both
One.
park and common.
Yes, we're saying the same.
Same thing.
Yeah,
Two committees that are both one.
so you could do park and recreations.
Yeah.
They do a lot.
You can call it whatever you want. At that point.
Vote on the name.
You can call it if you want. It's gonna be the same thing in the end.
No,
Yes. All right, is that, so we were planning on,
Next.
Tammy, you got that in the minutes
Invite the BCC
and
yes,
The TCC.
and the TCC.
and
it's not actually a thing yet, so stop referring to it. It's only-
TCC.
ABC.
They are.
So
It's easy as a
I
one.
think, Lisa, if you could reach out to the people who worked with you and, you know, if they're willing to come to the next meeting. It'd be greatly appreciated. If not, I don't see any reason why the two of you couldn't be members and the other people could volunteer their time like they did last summer. There's tons of options and we will hammer through all of them at the next meeting. Right.
Still put that donation for the flowers down. From the Cold Hollow Community Collective.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm still gonna make that donation for the flowers for the town common, because that's what it was agreed to be used for.
Second, go to the TCC, the
It's
BCC.
going, Linda or whomever, and they, the monies are TCC, ABC, ABC.
the bank,
Yeah, so it's going, it's a, it was a determination by the Cold Hollow Community Collective to take $400 and put it towards the town common for flowers. And then $400 towards the fireworks. It wasn't made by myself, but also $400 towards the fireworks, which I assume we just write to the fund.
Yes,
So, all right,
that's in other business though. Thank you.
we were talking TCC.
Okay.
Let me see.
the flowers in the park.
All right, her time's up.
Not if we get another frost.
And that's all I got to say.
All right, thank you. Next up is Mark. Is the green light on, sir?
No,
There we go.
I talked to Todd, it sounds, this is about the accumulation of vehicles down by the old creamery.
Yep.
36. And it's sort of something that's been creeping up. And as I was saying, okay, if they move through, if you have 5 cars, you take one away and then you add another one, you still have 5 cars. And it's sort of, there's a problem in Bakersfield with junkyards.
So that is privately owned. It's not necessarily a junkyard per se. What it is it is overflow from a local garage.
Yep.
That is true, but they do own land in Bakersfield and that's, you know,
That one Swanton.
right.
May I ask a question?
For the insurance pickup,
Who owns the old creamery?
Carl Stone,
Carl got it. Okay.
Stones LLC.
Stone's LLC.
It's their property.
Yep.
So, I mean, how did the cars, I mean, it's overflow and all, but there's nothing that requires us zoning wise, right? I mean, everybody has old vehicles on their property.
Registered vehicles,
What's those there?
which is unregistered, and there is zoning bylaws that cover how many unregistered vehicles you can have on the property.
So if those vehicles are registered, there's no bylaws that touch those.
There's,
So if those,
3 of them that are still registered and 2 that are junk. And the people goes on, and 1 registration is actually current.
Question for the zoning board administrator. How many quote unquote junk cars does it constitutes a junkyard, which requires a permit?
I was gonna say, are we enforcing that throughout the whole town?
Anything beyond 2? Then we have Never mind.
Yeah.
Well, then we-
Everybody knows where I'm going.
It's okay.
The fry than this one business.
And if it was up east in Bakersfield, behind somebody's house, nobody would know about it. Sitting there in the middle of Route
You
36.
shouldn't have better.
However, yeah,
Probably shouldn't have.
however, Mike, we can't enforce it like that.
It's with everybody. You
Yeah.
can't enforce just because it's on Route 36.
Right.
But it should be.
There's some on the avenue, there's some on 108,
And there's some fence going up that
on
will
Boston Post.
impede the view a little bit.
So I think the key thing is Brenda finds out what exactly is the statute on it. And then we can reach out if the owner of the property is in violation, we can just have a conversation with them.
Brenda's already reached out. She's working with him on it to see what's
Okay.
required.
They're in violation.
They are in violation, Brenda?
No. No.
No. Okay, so if they're not in violation, then it's a moot point.
Correct.
However, his plans would likely bring him into the violation zone. There's actually gonna be movement this week, to say for two of the crushed cars out of the ring. And the other three will be legal on that property.
All right.
They just barely purchased it. There's plans for it. They just haven't completed them.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they've been there for more than 3 weeks.
I don't believe so.
But there was some that showed up. During the winter, I remember people sleeping in this time. Oh.
No, there was some cars there earlier when the snow was still on the ground, but those, again, they're rotating in and out as the insurance companies come to pick
We have
them up.
people sleeping in cars right here.
Right, sure.
We haven't done anything about them.
It's also private property.
Well,
So,
Cranberry's private too.
but it comes,
This isn't private.
The church
Owned by the
cemetery, the
church.
church parking lot,
Owned by the-
absolutely it is.
Owned by the church.
Owned by the church.
Oh, some of that's not the historical? It's all
Yes,
the
it
church?
was private as well.
Right,
Oh,
But where she be parking is on the town property, because it's behind the
right.
historical society.
Yeah, you could go to where the old where the old school was,
mhm.
go over there and that's town property, then you can do something.
Absolutely.
Not very far, it's not, it's just a few yards different.
That's a moot point at this point.
Yep.
So, yeah, Mark, we're in contact with the owner of the property. At this point, he's not in any violations of our bylaws. As they are removing the cars before they reach their limit, or they are currently registered vehicles, so.
Okay.
As Todd said, he does have plans to erect a fence. To obstruct view, so you won't have that eyesore.
I think he wants to be stuck with them any longer.
No, he doesn't.
No,
So,
You know, I've been behind this garage and they're stacked on top of each other almost.
yeah, so,
Mhm.
But it's one of those things that if you let things go, and that, as you say, there's accumulation of cars in people's property that all over town.
But Brenda, would you please, for my sake, look up, and you were pretty sure it was two, but would you confirm that more than two junk vehicles constitutes a violation?
I believe. so.
Thank you.
thank you.
Unregistered junk, quote,
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. Went through that once before.
Mhm.
yeah. And again, if that is something we do pursue. There will not be one property that we can pursue that on. It will be spread throughout the town.
Dozen or something.
Yeah. So, fair warning, if you have extra junk cars in the yard,
I have one-
things could be coming to a point.
I have one thing.
Place.
Well,
How many red tractors do you have?
I just gotta fix it. It's,
and I guess that would depend on the definition of a junked vehicle. Because what's to say that 3 scrap tractors in the backyard is not considered a junkyard?
Hey, it runs once a year.
I just gotta fix the clutch.
I just saying, I mean, there's,
But
Okay.
is a tractor a vehicle?
you drive it down the road,
It's
You get
agriculture.
Dewey on it.
You-
It's ag.
Is it registered?
doesn't matter.
It's ag. You can do anything with it, I was told. Ag equals anything.
It does. Do that on this, but
We'll see, you can get a DWI on that.
All right.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sue, you're up.
You're up.
Thanks, Mark.
I don't want to hear this.
Yeah, I'm the one that opened that too. Sorry about that. I should have closed it.
The heat's on, it'll catch up.
I don't think that's why.
You remind me to check it. I don't think you are.
Pass it down. Absolutely. Thank you.
Get your glasses on.
They say this fall.
Careful of the wire. That's all I want you to be aware of.
My fingers.
First thing I'm gonna address is what I gave to Josh, which is ask for an extension to file the grand list for this year because we're running out of time and we have a lot of work to do. Part of that is because we've got new programs that they're just letting online now.
So what I will do, Sue, is I will ask the board for a vote for me to sign this letter of extension. All those in favor?
Well, wait, what's this mean? Because I gotta understand this.
Give an extra 30 days to submit our appraisal, the grand list.
You need a motion, Josh, for that?
So does that mean extra
He's
time
making
to
it.
pay your taxes or would,
No, it's extra time for them to get the grand list in.
so we'd still got a tax bill at
Yeah.
the same time?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll make one.
Yep.
I'll make the motion that Josh Goss as chairman of the select board of the town of Bakersfield be allowed to sign this request for extension for the property valuation review, specifically the town list. Okay,
The grand list.
grand list.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Any opposed?
That was Todd.
Sign away. Yeah.
So the number you came up with was 109.50 per parcel. Is that what I'm saying? And then if we want them to schedule appointments, it's another $10 a parcel or $9.25?
I'm not willing to do that. I've been through 2 reappraisals and those appraisals, everybody had listed phone numbers.
Right.
They're gonna have them. I'm not gonna do it.
All right, so we're down to 109.50. Which is $77,854.50 to the town. To pay for the
I
reappraisal,
think that's what she's here to talk about.
So the total is.
right? 84,431.25.
This is the only proposal we got.
Really?
Oh, wow.
16.
Okay.
Wow.
When are they saying?
Oh, the
that they
state
can
warned us that
work?
they were busy.
Well, 165 towns have been ordered to do the appraisals.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And these, if it's not even interested in scheduling us
No.
at all.
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not interested in being reappraised.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, from what I've heard about values that have gone through this reappraisal process,
Well, if we drop below 80%, does that mean the people in Bakersfield can't apply for their homestead extension, exemption?
If we don't do it, we don't get education money.
That's where they get us, yes. And that's a big chunk of change.
So,
So,
And that's the only proposal we've got.
and remember, folks, remember. When we do the reappraisal, if your property valuation goes up, chances are across the board, okay? Chances are, we still need this amount of money. Chances are the rate
We'll go there.
will go down. So your property being reappraised at a higher value isn't necessarily going to hurt you. Yes, some people will end up paying a little more and some people a little less. But across the board, everyone's gonna pay the same amount in taxes. Your rate will go down. If your property valuation is higher.
I appreciate that explanation, Lance. It's something that I didn't, that I'm not familiar with it. I haven't been a landowner through a reappraisal, so having that explanation could probably clear it up for quite a few people that are first-time home buyers or
That is
not.
historically how it has worked.
Historically,
The
yes.
state is operating right now, so I wouldn't count on it because we aren't doing this till 2026.
So, yeah, one of the questions I had was the timeline. And I see on page 3, they have a schedule. Which actually to me seems fairly quick for a group that was, and just so everybody's on the same page. It looks like it would start
Either.
the summer or, the summer or fall of this year, possibly the summer of 2024. And be ready for a grand list for 2026.
So they're gonna come through the houses as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would like it. But because, we don't have zoning. Where any interior work, we don't need to zoning.
So how does that work if, if it's a 9 to 5 schedule? And as we know, we're a what they call a bedroom community. Most of the people are working those hours. How will they be able to?
Pick a schedule. Like I said, people will make themselves available, and usually there is somebody that during the day will.
They can still do it without coming in your house.
They can do that.
Oh.
And it's not gonna get all the new basements and new bathrooms and that kind of stuff.
Well, I just don't know if everybody's gonna be willing to let strangers roam through their homes. You wanna come down to the property line.
Some people won't, but that vast majority is always like.
Now, question, you always hear horror stories. Oh, if you don't let them in, they're gonna put you down for as much as they can. Is there any truth to that? Okay.
Not at all. They'll just go by what was seen in the past.
Right.
And just by looking. That's.
I'm playing the devil's advocate here, obviously. Okay.
But this is the only, one we have, and that's, I don't know what else to say. Because we only got one reply saying they weren't interested in either, and that was.
Well, I would have to say that makes our decision easier.
Very.
I mean. This here, do you happen to know how much we transferred into the new, the reappraisal fund? Okay, I think it was like 25,000. I think we, was it? I think we,
Somewhere around 25, 30.
okay, so I mean. Sorry. We're a third of the way there, give or take.
Ill prepared.
And we'll have another tax year under our belts before this is due, I would imagine.
Question is, want to contact them, we want them to start this year, next year, what?
No, I think 24 is our best option. That gives us another tax year to build up that account. And, then because whatever we don't have in that account is gonna have to be found somewhere. And then it's gonna be a lump sum the following year. So, I think if we can push it that 1 year, that will help us. Yeah, and that gives you a little more time to get notifications out to everybody, what's going on, what's coming through. Yep.
I'm not willing to make the phone calls and either share.
Yeah.
Because
So their company does that?
that's for the extra money, yes, they will do that.
Okay.
I told them that about this and they added it in.
Yeah.
So how much was the extra money?
$9.25 per parcel.
If they have to call them.
Right. But what she's saying is that's going into this.
Right.
So it'll be $118.75 per parcel.
What was it? Just says yes.
711 parcels.
So they're gonna charge it to us whether they have to do it or not.
We haven't determined how much.
No.
money yet.
Is this an extra phone call or the very first phone call?
Yeah.
How many phone calls?
Thank you, Brenda.
Yeah.
We did have some phone numbers from zoning.
Yeah.
I would make a motion that we accept a proposal from the Vermont Appraisal Company as set forward by Susanski
To start in 2024.
to start in the year 2024.
Okay, I will contact them and give them that information.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
If you
Motion.
pass it.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
John,
Aye.
your mic's off.
Aye.
Aye. Full passes.
Thank you.
Yep, right here. Well, thank you very much for your work.
Mr. Chairman. Go back to C, the Mark Dreamus with the junk cars.
Yes.
Our zoning administrator, Brenda Churchill, has looked up the information. It shall be unlawful to place, discard, or abandon as junk 4 or more junk motor vehicles in a place where any such item is visible from the traveled way of highway or town road or visible to an abutting landowner from that portion of the abutter's land used on a regular basis.
So 4 or more that are abandoned. So these vehicles,
See,
what I'm saying is discarded or abandoned as junk.
right.
If it's fenced to where you can't see it, there isn't.
Yeah, it's.
I think,
Still.
I think the thing is, Todd, is these are not being discarded or abandoned as junk. They're being moved there until the insurance adjusters come,
Yep.
make their claim, and the vehicle is towed away.
Should be a most of them,
Right.
9%.
It doesn't even say, it doesn't even say registered, so. At this point, Mark, it is within the legal statutes of the state.
That's 4 more cars.
4 or more vehicles that are abandoned.
In other words, you've left them out in the meadow for.
Yeah, but I'm wondering what of those cars are just.
They're not abandoned, they are for
Right.
insurance appraisals or to be hauled to the junkyard. He's not creating a junkyard, he's storing them to the point where they can be moved.
And he's gonna block it with a fence. but
Start-
he wants to further go into it.
Yeah. There is some further verbiage here. Storage of vehicles and junk in any district. Motor vehicles that are both non-operative and non-inspected shall be stored in an enclosed structure or in an area concealed from public roads. Junk storage areas of 200 square feet or more are considered junkyards and are prohibited in all districts. Vehicles being used in a farm operation are exempt from this provision.
Now, it did say vehicles that are used in a farm. Yeah. So. Once a year. Thank you, sir.
Guess he'll have to get some orange triangles.
Excellent, yes.
Those,
I think it's got an orange triangle on it.
The slow moving vehicle thing.
A copy, so I can put that in a minute, Matt. Lance. Oh, you did? Just now? Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Thanks, man.
okay.
Mark, you're up. Happy that's taken care of. That's a big one off there.
There, my friend. Whoops, I didn't move the
Otherwise,
camera
I
that
might
much.
have to run again.
Just made it know my head worse. It's okay. Just a bunch of.
I plan on locking my doors.
Me too, now that I know that.
Permits to sign.
You don't-
They've been signed once.
you do know that mine's the only telephone number on the website.
That's the plan.
Yeah. I'm gonna put Todd's up there.
So we have access permits that have gone through the first signature and are now, and you have inspected all these and they are 2-year standards. He didn't crush that plastic culvert. Good.
Yeah.
Final permits issued on.
May 22nd.
You're viable
already.
Oh.
Lord.
2023, forget it. I was going back 23 years or more. I was saying 19, I was about to do 1993. I don't know why. So much 30 years.
In a few days, I'm gonna be younger again.
Did this one? It's the one with the note on it, so I wasn't sure what it was.
Is that the power crossing?
It comes from Paul Houses, yep.
Right, there's that one.
You want to send it that way?
I was gonna ask if they were.
I don't
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Well, it works. So really handling it up there, huh? Well, the first one was the daughter and the second,
They're gonna have their own village up there.
One for crossing. I think for.
This is for Dan O'Rourke, Catherine Villataro.
Yeah.
Danny or Jamie?
For road.
Jamie?
Jamie Curtis. What is it?
Jamie Curtis for Sugar House.
Nope. Thank you, sir.
Got it.
I handled the complaint for you.
Me too.
No, you guys are freaking idiot. Bro, were they ever gonna create it? I was like. I'm not waiting to the other one.
Thank you, dear.
And I was like, yeah, they'll grade it, but it said that doesn't stop you from being able to slow down.
This has been signed. Oh, no, it hasn't.
Want me to give it to Linda?
If you want.
Linda sticks around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give it to Linda.
No
No problem.
Complaint. Another complaint from last time, I ended up emailing.
Sometimes to build a home.
Thank you.
Yeah. he just sent it in the back, so you guys have done-
Ready?
They are not again. So I can. I see that.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Is the mic on?
Yep.
Okay. What are you looking at, just so I can?
Surprising.
Yeah.
These are just,
Okay,
I don't know. This would be another.
another other?
I think she files them now that they've been signed off on.
I think I file them.
Commercial grow.
Oh, yeah, it's on.
Wait, are you talking? Wait,
Yeah.
stop.
That's side conversations. Yeah, I think I forwarded it to you, Josh.
Yep.
Wait, can you wait 1 sec? Are we done with him?
No, we're not. I missed the visitor. This is my bad.
Okay.
That's all right. And with that said, I did some diligence on with the state and with the Northwest Regional Planning. And basically, the ordinance that we were asked to consider last year that we didn't,
The one that I asked to be put on the ballot?
yeah,
Yep,
that didn't get on the ballot,
yep,
was for a commercial establishment to sell cannabis products.
right. Which if we would have put that in front of the town, that would have given us as a board permission to yay or nay any grow, correct?
Correct.
Since we did not put that in front of the taxpayers, we are now at the mercy of the state, aren't we?
Yep.
Yep.
But could we not, and not that, we're at the mercy of the state, but is that forever? Or can we put it on next year's ballot?
That is a great question.
Well, that's something that we
Because we may
we
lose-
can ask about.
Yeah, we may lose control for this one scenario, but
However,
we want to
it
go,
is not a retail operation. It is a wholesale operation.
okay,
This is fundamentally different and it is agricultural. It falls under the state purview. And it only needs, from what my research showed, change of use permit for that property.
That's what we need.
Okay, so what about security?
I think the state fire marshal's office still has to be involved in that commercial.
Your mic's not on, Todd.
Even though it's ag, I think on that case. I think-
Quite likely, that-
Sorry.
Sorry, yeah.
yeah, quite likely, there's
Yeah.
no fees involved
No,
in this. because
But I
it's
think there'll be a
agriculture.
permit required from the
Permit
state
from
for
the
the change of use, just like
Okay,
you're
to
talking
change
about.
the use,
Yes.
But
Yeah.
again, it's gonna go a barn to
Yep.
something that's now a commercial grow operation.
Will it be secured?
By what?
I don't know, fences, guard dogs, guns.
People
nuclear
living on the
missile?
property?
No.
I mean, is it just gonna be wide open land right where they're planting?
No, it's all inside. It's all
So
interior.
it's in a building, it's gonna be secure.
Where's it located?
I think it's where Sherry Joyle's farm is now, or her barn out back. Where the trucking company's been.
Oh, right on,
Oh, they
right on
sold
Route
it?
36.
Right on top, right on 108. you-
Right on 108.
Yeah.
They sold that?
Out back
Yeah.
between Joyle's and the log cabin.
No, back, yes.
Asking what the considerations are from the town with
The separate-
respect to
They've separated that law.
108. I said 36.
He did.
Sorry.
It's all right. We knew what you
in
meant.
that building. And with, again, with the League of City, not the League of Cities now, but Northwest Regional Planning said. It's basically the town's,
So Brenda, are they doing drying operations there?
I don't know.
Processing and all?
The scope of the operation wasn't something that we elaborated on. What this did was it generated questions to their respective state authorities and local folks.
Yeah.
And
Definitely fire marshal's office would be involved, and then the fire department would have to be involved because it may come into some issues there as far as protection.
well, let me
If
ask you.
it's a drying operation, that's why I say it all depends. If they're growing and just storing, it's different than growing and drying.
Right.
Would depend on how you dry, yeah.
Fire marshal's permit to dry hay.
You have to, well, it's commercial buildings, so it has to have all the same things another commercial, even though it's agricultural, they brought it in a bit closer than most stuff on.
I'm just curious, I know this is a sidetrack and I apologize, but farmers have been drying hay and selling it commercially forever.
It's the process they use that's a little bit higher risk when they're drying this, I guess. I really understood it.
Thank you.
The chemicals.
Some of it, yeah.
Well,
But you're right.
well, I mean,
I want to make
Yes, and others went up in flames.
all the individual back and just say. State permits, changing the usage.
so we don't have any authority to make any say
No,
on
even
what's
if-
happening.
even if we had approved that and we. Going back to last year, even if we had approved that. What it means is that if he was retailing it there. That would have been a thumbs up or a thumbs down that we could have said. But with regard to a commercial grow operations, just like Lance said, like, hey.
But if he,
Interior, hey.
if he is successful at growing and then makes the front or a sales location, we have no say.
I wouldn't say that. They have to get a license to grow and they have to get a license to retail.
But you're separate.
Entirely local or state.
State.
They don't have to have anything locally.
But you as a town body can go to the meeting where the
That's-
license being
yeah.
applied for and share your concerns.
I think we just need to add it to next March and, you know.
I'm not sure you can.
I'll look into
Change
that
our
too.
laws, I mean, you know. Please take a look or ask VLCC.
That should, there's a lot of people.
VLCC. I got a couple questions for them.
But the whole thing.
It's so strange to me, but yet they have to get our approval for a liquor license.
That is because we actually did have control over the liquor situation. As you know, Bakersfield was a dry town considerably longer than any of its neighbors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Therefore, it was at the discretion of the select board at that time to become a.
I didn't know that.
Albeit I still think.
So I'd like
things-
to the record that we'd like to be a drug-free town too.
Well, I tried that.
It's legal.
Yeah, but
I'm
not
not
gonna plan.
I'm not gonna say I told you so, but I told you so.
It's my opinion.
What's the neighboring properties?
If they see the permit in the, Yeah.
Posted permit.
it would be just like, your neighbor putting on a garage and you not approving of that. You will have to see the permit, come in and voice your concern. And
But the permit's not gonna be through here, right?
yeah,
Oh, it will be through there.
change the use.
Okay. Okay.
So people just have to come in and say no.
I think there's a little more to it than that, but
If you have
Theoretically.
any questions, just get
I know
them to
some-
Bakersfield zoning so that I can make sure that I follow up properly on that. So. And I will copy you all on whatever gets said.
They're just growing them. There's nothing you can do.
Pretty much.
It's the same, it's hand.
Fine.
Okay, sorry, thank you.
Thanks.
excellent. Thank you. Sorry, I assumed you weren't here for that. All right. Mac, you're back in the hot seat. Afternoon. So when are you starting your new job? Oh, it's not you with the commercial grow? That was a joke.
It's maple flavored.
Maple.
Turn that mic towards you.
All right, any updates on the roads? Still there, still located where they were?
The tank that we have, that we got last year, we got one tank empty, we got one tank full, so we called him today. By the time the other one's empty, he should have plenty of time to get here, so we're not gonna have the same
Excellent,
repetitive problem that we've been having for almost 20 years.
excellent. I spoke with Mike. He said he spoke with Mark. And that unit that I had on delivery, he was not interested in. It's too small. Okay, that's the whole point in this situation or this process.
Josh, to be honest with you, you'd be better off buying a backhoe.
Okay,
Your
so just,
small work and still renting an excavator.
Yep, so just so everybody's aware, at the last meeting, we talked about a 160. The salesman called me and said, unless you plan on parking this sucker in the middle of the road and ditching both sides from the middle, it's way too big for what you need. He said, that's fine. I said, keep your eyes open, let me know. He said he had a X85, I think is the model that he wanted to bring up. Marky's seen one around before and he said, I think it's too small. The salesman was like, give it a try. That didn't happen. It's just too small.
I've got hold of Case Euroguard.
Okay.
They are in the process of sending a salesman out.
Okay, yep. He also, the same salesman has contacted me and says he has 3 other units in the 140 range. Size, so it's like a 32 ton or a 32,000 pound machine. Used machines, all in that same price range that the 160 was in. Okay, I also spoke with him. He is 100% on board in taking the older grader in trade. I know that may not be what you guys are hoping for, but it's questioned in the town, which I'm sure you know, as to why we have to, why we need to. If that one still worked, why'd we get a new one? A lot of that stuff going around, which I'm sure you're aware of, but
When you see 2 of them run at the same time. Good answer.
it should. Yep, no, I mean,
It's the upkeep of 2 graders that people are worried about.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. If you all, both of them break down at the same time, the cost to repair is gonna be. That's what they're looking.
but I mean, in trade-off, you could still have 2 people operating
Right.
2 pieces of machinery and getting
Right.
twice as much done, which is, in my opinion, just as valuable, but I mean, whether you're ditching or grading, at least there's production. What's that? He didn't. He said that would be a sit down either with you, him, me, or you, him, and the board. He said he was fine with either. He's perfectly comfortable in front of select boards. So that's something for us to keep in mind. I'll try to keep everybody up to date through the, I'll message you if he's got anything coming or sending anything up, so.
Give it away either.
Yeah, that's Pete's, yeah.
I was just down there yesterday or Saturday.
What about that place on 15?
Yeah, take the mic.
the place on Route 15 in Underhill, you ever look at
Oh,
that Tibbet?
Yeah, if it's smaller too.
So, yeah,
They're too small.
his big machine would probably be that X85.
Yeah,
The only other one I thought it was CCR.
I haven't got a hold of them. I went. by
They
the other
got
day.
a couple good units out back there that are pretty good size, yeah. I think they're cases, aren't they? I don't think they're,
No,
John-
they're,
are they John Deere's?
Same.
Oh, okay, yep,
Oh, okay, that's the,
that's.
that one's making a surge in this area right now.
Yeah,
And
They were able to get a lot.
okay,
let's see, one of the big contractors in St. Albans just bought one, and he
Yep.
said he loves it.
Yeah, and.
Price wise, they didn't look bad, Yeah.
Go look at the tree, we're losing. light.
right?
okay.
Do we want to just take 5 minutes to go out?
Yeah.
Let's see what, do you have anything else for us?
Your complaints, the Bakersfield one?
Oh, it's good.
Two, actually, there was a flat tire on Lawyer Road.
Well, what's that got to do with us?
Because it didn't get York raked after the last time it was graded.
Oh, country.
Yeah. And Pudva Hill. Complaints about the sharp stones where you took the stone that we purchased because
Put it in the
we
mud.
said a certain citizen said we needed that type of stone and you put it up on Pudva Hill and it wasn't worked into the ground and there was a person had a flat tire up there also Pudva Hill. Branches in the road, hitting. That was the complaint. I haven't been up to see it. I told them I would pass the information on. I have done my due diligence.
No, we've had complaints in the past, but we have not fielded flat tires and I know we've locked it down around them.
Yeah, we don't,
I'm
we're
not
not.
passing the information on.
Yep,
They're at the same thing, and it's, you know, it's the rock.
yeah, it's this,
You can't do much.
I got some stone from the same pit and I cut my steer tire right in my own driveway, so it's just,
The crusher is better.
I-
They got-
it's,
But I mean, as the.
yeah,
as it
it's
gets
all,
better, it doesn't-
It def worked out.
Right.
yeah,
And that road hasn't been graded probably since we put the stone in.
Yeah.
I don't think, which helps bring in some more fines and stuff, which.
any others on roads? Sorry, like John said, we're short on lights, so we'll go
Down
check.
light.
Yeah, so let's take 10 minutes or well, let's say we'll reconvene back here no later than 8:45.
Oh,
Back live. So after, what's that? The town crew as a whole, with some help from Lance by the sounds of things. Are gonna tackle the 4 trees. And Mac, you figure it would be just as easy to rent a stump grinder?
Easier for you.
Even if we need to rent it for,
There, yeah.
if we need to rent it for a couple of days, it'd still be cheaper than
Yeah.
grinding, okay? I think in trying to save some money, you know, and trying to, you know, not cost the taxpayers as much as we can. I think that's our way, that's our route.
And replant.
Yep, and replant. If anybody, if you know of anybody, or if anybody has mentioned anything about wanting to do a dedication tree. That's 4. Yep. That'll be, just so we're clear. That'll be 3.
Yeah.
Trees being replanted. The one in the road right away will not be replanted.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we are taking those 2 people.
Two in the corner, just on the other side, and then the one on the far side, yep. Any others on that? Okay,
No,
I think for $300 a day, if we can grind 2 stumps a day,
okay.
we're already paying these guys so they can man that unit, they've done it before.
Yep.
I think it's a more cost-effective solution. That sounds good from our side, yep. Thank you for that.
So how much notice do we need to give that we're closing the road while this is being done? At least the one tree?
I would think that you're talking an hour tops, and that's getting everything out of the way. I think-
Push it out,
Right,
it still
right.
has traffic going.
Yep.
You have to have some
I don't think you'd have that road closed for more than 10
Do it
minutes.
with a bucket loader and you can have it down there 5 minutes in the yard.
If you had to just pull it over to the church parking lot for an hour.
I just didn't know if, you want.
Well, I tell you what, they can complain about the tree in the yard when I get to complain about them parking in front of the town hall on the weekends.
No.
True.
If they can't wait, they can turn around and go over King Road.
Right.
It's just a matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't want them underneath of this.
Yep.
On a certain time of day, there's no traffic off that road anyway.
I think you had the right idea. If you parked a tandem at the intersection and a tandem on top of the hill.
There you go. Well, you're doing.
Yep.
Yep.
As long as you're gonna be there, I think it'd take you longer to put the signs out than it would to cut the tree.
Yeah, I agree.
So. Have them ready, drive them out,
Yeah.
make your cuts. All it out of the way, knock them out of the way.
Yeah.
15 minutes tops, I would say. I don't think that needs to be notified.
Okay.
Find the slowest time of day. Absolutely. Need firewood? Not that old rock maple, you can't break that.
If it was small enough to pick up, I can't do that anymore.
You're oil fired now, so you don't need a sugar house. Oh, pellets, sorry. You can make a lot of pellets out of it. Oh, okay. Any others on roads? That was pretty much the last of it, wasn't it? Okay. Treasurer position update. We're still running the ad, but we have not had.
Still running the ad. You got the temp agency contract.
Right.
That's one of them. The other temp agency that I contacted, they want to know, job description and salary.
Okay.
I didn't have. But I can send that to them. They also have a contract. They also have a buyout fee. They also have the, direct hire fee. Third one that I called, it didn't sound like a real place.
What was the name of it? Sorry. Well, there's a couple of them that are.
Good luck with those.
Vermont Employment Agency on Kingman Street. They didn't even say the name of the thing and it was just leave a message. And then I called the one in Williston, left a message with the person, but they never got back to me. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Drug front.
Don't know.
But anyway,
Okay.
these people were very nice that I spoke with, ready to help me. The other place I needed to wait for somebody to call me back.
Okay.
But you can look over the contract.
Sure, Mike on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yep, okay. We'll look over that then. Grant writing proposal update.
Yeah, you need to sign it. I think we agreed upon it for the MERP. Alex's proposal, I thought we agreed upon it.
We did.
Last meeting.
Yep, this was a trial basis.
Yep, the
And
one, the
you-
one,
You read through it already and it says trial basis for,
it says for one project, it identifies the project. Now we're paying more per hour because it's only one project, but
okay,
we knew that.
Yep.
so you're only applying for one project.
At
this time.
Giving them a shot.
So. Do I have the
One-
blessing of the board to sign? Yes.
Bottom right, you. What's that? I'm
One
sorry.
project meaning one building.
The project is the Municipal Energy Resilience Program
Okay, so that whole grant for the multiple buildings, got it.
for the 4 buildings that we're talking about.
Okay. Yeah,
Now. Once we sign this, then Tammy, we just need to get a hold of him and I can shoot him an email. I'll keep it. This should stay at the office. You should get a count and just pass that down to her. Get his signature when he shows up and then get a copy for us, for our records, please.
oh, this is for the,
Alex,
Perfect. And I'm assuming the minute update is the fact that we just hired a grant writer to start that process.
Yeah.
Look at me go. I am on fire today.
ARPA. So here's the problem or the piece with ARPA. I went out and talked to Katie Buckley with the league about funds.
Yep.
Like where to put the money because our concern is not that it's happened, but there's some grumbling that it may happen with clawback of the money.
Yep.
That's not spent. So according to Katie, we have a couple funds we can drop them in. If we decide to put it in the general fund, that's good for this year, and we'd probably have to determine if we wanted it in something else. It would have to go for a decision of a new fund being created from the general fund, like we would with any fund. It would go in March for a vote from the town.
Okay.
We could take a subset of that money or the plethora, whichever way, and put it in the new equipment fund. It must be spent on new equipment.
Right.
New to us, not.
New to,
Correct. Purchase of new equipment, not purchase new, yes.
Yep.
It could be used new equipment to the town. I know we talked about a couple things that the town needs, and we talked about. My suggestion is whatever we decide that we need in the new equipment fund, it gets moved over in the new equipment fund. The rest goes into the general fund until the end of the year, and then we make a fund for grants and or grant writing and grant matching grants. I apologize.
there you go. Yeah.
Is the way that I think probably benefits, because I know we're looking at an excavator. Mac and I had a conversation about the roads, and that, 95% of the roads in this town, probably more, is dirt. And one of the problems we have is we can't maintain the roads because they're too hard at times. And originally I was talking to Mac about what would it take for like a water truck or something like that, so we could wet the road down and then go plow or grade the road, grade the road.
If you're wetting the roads before you plow them, it turns to ice.
Well, wet it before you grade.
Nice.
So wet it before you grade was the comment. And I did initially ask Mac if we could maybe repurpose the chloride. But he said it isn't big enough for a tank to do that. We need more capacity.
How big are those, the purposely made like tandem tanks? Like the ones that slide right into a like they're almost like square and they slide right into the tandem dumps.
Oh,
I think Brendan Wadsworth uses one for gathering sap, or was using one for gathering sap,
Yeah.
but it's almost the exact same size as a tandem dump
Right.
in it. Yeah, you did.
Did I say 16
To put into the new equipment.
times 20?
Well, that's what we have to figure out, to be honest, what we need to quickly figure out if there's an excavator out there that would meet the needs. And be large enough, and then go from there as to what we figure out what we need. But, if you went off of, Wow.
If you had one, to answer Josh's question, if you had one that fit perfectly into a 16-yard dump truck, it would hold 3,200 gallons.
which is 3 times the amount I think you said that the,
Yeah.
calcium chloride.
Yeah. Or use a hydrant.
You use, no, a dry hydrant. Could you not use a dry hydrant?
Dry hydrant you could use.
Where are they?
Do we have a pump capable of doing that?
The fire
So
department.
we have
must.
to purchase a pump.
Does the fire hydrant or the fire department have a
Big
pump?
enough to put that, you'd need a bigger pump. You need like a 500-gallon minute pump. Portable pump, which they make, they're just.
I was gonna say, you can get,
Yeah.
yeah, we've got a 3-inch trash pump at the school that we picked up fairly cheap. I say a couple.
Ours is, ours is 2.5.
It does rain.
It rained the day after I talked to you.
Right.
I was able to hit that road.
Some people are just impatient.
Well, it just comes
Just to work with what we got for this year and consider it for another year.
like I said,
Get
the
your
only
excavator, that's your key thing.
Yeah.
So
people are
Just-
constantly, besides myself, complaining about the roads.
Doesn't make
The
any
answer
difference
is-
what we do. We have people complain about the roads.
Well, what I'm saying is the answer is the same. The road's too hard or the road's too soft, but usually it's too hard.
It's usually too dry.
Right, too dry.
Too dry.
So,
I mean, literally, John.
Yeah.
We had one road 2 years ago. One meeting, a man came in and complained that it was all washboarded and rougher than hell and he couldn't stand driving over it. Mac and the crew went down and graded that road. In the next meeting, we had a person from the same road complaining that the speed bumps were gone, literally complaining. And the traffic was too fast.
can't do much about that, I guess, but
I was in Enosburg today
Yeah.
and I was waiting for the grader, okay? The grader was in the road. And I had a woman come up to my bus and complain that they were grading and it was making too much dust.
Yeah, well, I think.
So I don't really think there's a good solution.
You never.
You're never gonna please everybody.
Right,
In this position, I found it's hard to please anybody. So,
Best we can with what we got.
Like today, I did a couple miles east Bakersfield and it was wet enough. Dan went up, raked it, sprayed the chloride, it was good.
Yep.
Then I went to King Hill Road, did the same thing, that started getting a little bit dusty, but sprayed it, it's good. Then when I did King Road, it was getting really dusty.
Yeah.
And when I started down that end, came up through, of course, it's into,
Mhm.
Yep.
but you still need that little bit of moisture to bind things down.
Yeah.
Or it
Yep.
stays-
Yeah.
so Terry, to get to your question, how much should we transfer? I think we need a solid number on two things. We need a solid number on what the cost of, or what our ballpark is on a grader. Which with what we've been looking at, I'm guessing it's gonna be about 120.
Greater.
Excavator, sorry, misspoke, excavator.
Yeah.
It's been right around the 120 ballpark.
130 in to be sure.
Well, it's 120, not taking into consideration the fact that we can trade in the other grader. Oh, right, and you also need a trailer, so
How soon do you think this needs to be done?
the
Do you think
transfer,
Yeah, do you think?
I
we have
think we-
another meeting? We,
Oh, yeah.
okay?
I think we have till the end of the year.
I agree. I think we've got some time.
I
I
think-
mean, the main concern is, right now, the federal government's looking for money because they were hitting the wall.
Yeah.
So technically that comes up in June, the beginning of June. That they'll come up with whatever decision that they deem acceptable on how to hit that and get that debt ceiling either increased or reduced costs underneath it.
I mean,
It's that money.
Yeah, I would say by your next meeting, I believe, have a decision.
They said something about it. but I-
Well-
Stick it somewhere.
Yeah,
We
If
could,
you have it in general, can you send?
no,
send it on
once it's
to-
in general, it can't come out of general unless the voters decide it can
Okay,
go to
got it.
another. We can put it all in the new equipment. Can't come out of new equipment unless the voters decide it comes out of that fund. So,
Unless you purchase new equipment.
well, if it's all for new equipment, yeah, but I would assume that we don't want it.
75,655.
What do you think you're gonna want for your grant?
Yeah.
That's what I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, how much is your grant writer?
Right.
How much
What
are
do
you figuring the grant writer is gonna cost?
He gave us a 6 month, I have to go look. He gave us a 6 and a year.
You got 175 and you kept 30 for your grants. That's what I'm trying to figure out, you know? And-
Well, I actually was in the same ballpark, Todd. I was thinking maybe a little bit more like 130 in the equipment and 40 in the grant
Yep.
matching.
Yeah,
And we can, again,
In-
we don't use it, we can move it.
right.
Well, in doing that, that also gives us, because we don't have just the expense of a excavator, you also need to buy
Trailer.
not necessarily new, but a decent trailer that you can then move without hiring somebody.
so, want to make a motion?
What was your numbers?
130.
I'll make a motion to move
45, the remaining.
130,000 from the ARPA funds.
130 or 135?
You want 135?
And 45.
Okay, 130 and 45. Okay, no, I just was
Yep.
clarifying. I wasn't sure which way we were going with that thought.
To the new equipment fund
New
The
equipment,
remainder to the.
and the remainder
the
to
general.
the,
remainder.
General.
Exactly.
That would-
45.
not to the general, I
You're
thought.
better with the remainder.
Is it to the general?
No, to the general for now, because we don't have a grant writing.
We don't
fund.
have a grant.
Okay.
writing thing.
And then the
The
remainder,
remainder.
Which would come out of the general fund anyhow.
Right,
Correct.
and it's about 45K.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded to move $130,000 from the ARPA fund to the new equipment fund and 45,000.
The remainder.
The remainder we.
Oh, I was just gonna go off what the last number was. Okay, the remainder to the general fund to cover grant writing fees. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
I have one
just
question
in
on,
case it's not exactly.
Yeah, in case that number is not accurate. Yep.
is this from when the school did not take care of the generator?
So what this was bringing it back up to specs because it hadn't been serviced.
Okay,
Um,
so this
that we,
wasn't,
no, we had that same question
okay,
and, yep.
okay.
So no, not necessarily the schools. More our fault for not having the, yep,
Get it back up.
yep, getting it back up to.
Who hasn't signed these, Josh?
No, we're not there yet. I haven't got there. So,
So pending file updates. nothing?
this one, I'm not sure where it goes or where it should have gone.
What is this? Pending file updates.
That's
No.
this pending tabled items that we've tabled from the past meetings and pass it down, let you look.
That's from the pending file, you said?
No, this is
No.
not.
Yeah, we've always traditionally
This is
not
mail.
mistaken,
Yeah, no,
but considering that it is a cemetery and does the cemetery commission also take care of that one?
that's the question.
What is it?
That is the bid from Ross for Cookbrook Cemetery.
Yeah, that'd have to go to the cemetery commission.
I was not, honestly, one of the meetings, I wasn't sure that the cemetery commission currently takes care of that cemetery.
It currently does not.
You should, but do you?
You guys,
They used to. I don't remember when it was done.
but didn't you guys budget that last year and you paid it?
Well, that was before we found out that we can't do that.
Okay.
So that's going to the cemetery.
Would you like this? Nice, neat file. And can you just keep us privy as to what you decide on that? Thank you very much.
Now we get the pending file.
Pending file. Let's see what we can cross off the tabled items list here. I don't like any of it.
Is that the only mail?
That was the only mail in the new mail. Somehow the dog fight got put in the tabled items. This,
Only because you're waiting for,
Yeah, till next month.
June, we just did
Right.
a file.
so,
Yeah.
yeah, to give, well, should we give an update on that so we know? So everybody's on the same page?
Yep.
We gave Mr. Wonderlich a deadline of June 1st to come up with a plan. And a deadline of the 16th to have the dogs off property, whether that means they are rehomed or euthanized. That is the hard deadline. So
So,
16th,
16.
yep, day before.
So my question with that is, where do we stand liability wise if we know?
So technically, in the meeting, there is one actual recorded and documented bite the correct way.
Yeah.
The other ones chose not to seek medical attention, which makes them unrecordable.
Right.
Right. And the other one, the person admitted he entered into the area
Now, who said that?
when the,
It's in the
it's in the
statutes.
statute. So
That's funny, because when my daughter got bit, they didn't want to see her. But they still reported it here.
you can report it, but to be considered
didn't
in
report it.
no, I'm saying
Facility to,
anyone can report a dog bite, but the qualifying portions for the statute stated that the individual has to be bitten off of the property of the animals and they have to seek medical attention. Then it quantifies into the count as a vicious dog bite. If you enter the property of the animals, whether you're bit and you go seek medical attention or not, that doesn't quantify.
It's a civil matter.
Right.
If in the one case, the person did seek medical attention, however, he admitted he knew the dogs were gonna bite him, he went in the car anyways, and he agitated the situation.
That was the police
Exactly. He was trying to get some medical papers and crack a window, but the reality behind it is he knew he was gonna get bit, he went in there anyhow. So he caused his own grief. So really the only one that
Admittedly.
quantified was Mr. Churchill.
I'm just curious what happens when, because we keep letting these dogs get rehomed.
Well,
Knowing
it
it's
was
an issue, so
it was made,
come with the dog,
it was
there's
made,
something saying,
it was made very specific in this meeting. And it was heard by all four members of his representation that if the dogs are rehomed, we need to have address and town, and the dogs are not to go together. So that what we can do on our due diligence is we can take this file and say it's rehomed to Colchester, just for,
You can make
Right.
protest.
we will take this and we will say, you know, we're aware that this dog has been moved to this address under these owners. Here's the files we have on 3 non-qualifying bites and 1 qualifying bite for these dogs. That is our due diligence at that point. Yeah.
these dogs
No,
keep getting moved,
There
and
was-
it's like they get a new life, well.
There's one other-
Habits are not gonna change just because they moved 2 towns down.
Yes, you're exactly right. There was one other stipulation we had that Josh didn't mention.
I'm
The
sorry.
dogs have to go get retrained. A
Right.
trainer has to see the dog and decide if the dogs are salvageable.
Yeah.
If the trainer says the dogs are not salvageable, they go get euthanized.
Yeah.
If they feel they're salvageable, they need to pay, the current owners, the Wonderlicks, need to pay to get the dogs retrained, and they have to separate them and rehome them and notify the folks wherever they're going that they were retrained.
Makes sense.
That was what we,
That-
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
the end result.
Yep.
Because I don't think anyone here disagrees, just rehoming dogs that are trouble is a good
And-
scenario.
And even the neighbor who was in attendance said, you know, he would hate to see the dogs put down if they can be retrained, and he was like, he goes, I don't want to see anybody's dogs put down. If they can be retrained and rehomed,
Right.
that's the best option.
Right.
He did also state that he doesn't let his 10-year-old son
Right.
drive by that property, which is, you know, it is what it is at this point. So, all right.
Okay,
Moving on to more tabled items, we have the issue at 96 Smith Road. It's not the issue at 96 Smith Road, it's the issue on the avenue,
Right.
which we have made the call to.
We called.
It's been put to the state and the state's not doing
So
anything.
Todd provided a URL that I went and
Filled out.
gave, well, I gave it to the
Okay.
homeowner
Yeah.
to do the work.
Yeah.
I apologized in the delay, informed them this is where we need to go.
Yeah.
You know, he needs to pull this out, and make a state complaint.
Brings the agent.
Okay.
to resource, so DEC, yeah, brings the DEC enforcement officer on board with
Okay.
with what's going on.
So
That's out of our hands.
can we create, this is out of our hands at this
In
point.
the state hands, or if he decides not to complain to the state, then he opted not to do the work that's
All right,
required.
so Tammy, can I ask you to file this in the health officer file?
Yep.
Next one we have in tabled items is the Harding and Mazzotti motorcycle accident on East Bakersfield Road. We've reached out to them and they have not reached out back to us, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so is that still tabled?
It is still tabled.
Still tabled.
okay. Probably gonna get a court date.
Well, they would have to correct the information first.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, we're not in New York.
They basically have to send a new one of these to start
But I'm saying,
Yeah.
over again.
Have you
You
been
know,
able to
they-
confirm that actually came from their office?
No.
That's my concern,
Get no reasonable response from Harding.
right?
Yeah. So the next one is
I had one.
a, what the hell is this one? The maintenance agreement on that small corner section that the state,
Oh.
there was something about this that we weren't signing it.
Waiting for the state to clarify.
Yeah.
Right,
Oh, we're waiting for updated documentation.
correct. So this is still tabled.
Written clarification instead.
Did they understand that's what we're waiting for?
That's their problem, not ours. Okay, the next one is strictly informational. It was excavation and dirt work. This guy's interested. If we have our own excavator, do we need this information?
It does not hurt to have it.
File that under contractors, you can,
Just leave it with the.
okay, I'll put that over here. Next one is CMAG Consulting. This is another, where the hell did it go? It's a grant writing company
We can file that.
out of Barry.
Yeah.
I would prefer to keep money local, and we do have a couple people local who have said that they're interested, so I feel like
File.
we get a light on the flag pole.
There's a light out. Assuming when to put it in. The flags are supposed to be in more.
Perfect. I did get a question on
Is the
the,
big
I did
flagpole
too.
still broken?
you know,
Did you get it? Okay.
Cause they said there was a shredded one.
Yeah, that's the big
big
flag
one.
was the one, yeah,
Oh, it's the big one?
yeah.
It's very shredded.
It could, yeah, always,
It'd be better for it to come down than to leave it.
what is this weekend? What is this weekend?
Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
The flags on Main Street coming in tomorrow. Do you have, is that another one coming there?
Yep.
The big one? Is that in the same order? The new one
Big
for the
flag.
park? Okay, so that'll be up this week too.
I talked to Kathy, she said it was just a matter of their ship, but she didn't know when. Yeah. Right. It's supposed to be here tomorrow, I think, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it will be up for Memorial Day weekend. Okay, good.
Right.
Okay,
All right,
right. Yep.
all right.
Northwest Communications District, we get our updates from Brenda and that one goes through. This was for, I believe, our. Yeah. This is basically our accessibility and our walkway out here that's 3/4 of an inch too narrow
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
and our
Thank
lip
you.
out here that's. It's 3/4 of an inch too high, so a wheelchair would have a hard time getting it. This is just a. Someday, if we have extra stuff that we want to go through and do, there's your list of stuff. That is all the tabled items. Tammy, are
Need
you
a little
happy?
cement.
I only tabled 3.
Dropbox.
What about it? Is that on here? I don't see that on here.
Picture, I got the picture. I just gotta find it.
Was it before Florida or after?
It's after, right here. That's what Fairfield says.
That is a neat little drop box.
You want me to take out of the pending file?
No, I put that in this file. That's the brown bin file. This is the,
Carrie, how much is it, Terry?
Huh?
How much was it?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
just
look.
stopped and took a picture of it.
You probably could call down and ask them, but they got it.
who's the, I keep thinking it's Jerry. It's not Jerry.
The concrete to mount it to, but that ought to be adequate.
We don't have any concrete?
Well, it can't be that hard to put concrete.
No.
Or a little pad up there on the
That,
corner.
Do you want to pour a pad?
One, I mean,
we pulled it to the-
drive some rebar straight down.
Ken,
How big?
it's
I would say it's about, looks like it's about 8 inches wide.
about that.
Okay, I just wanted a general idea. Thank you.
It's almost like the ones you put your boats in. It's similar.
No,
Oh, it's just, I haven't signed that yet.
I need to write those warrants down.
I haven't signed.
Before they disappear.
It's a drop box for taxes or any other documentation that needs to be dropped off after hours. I mean, I don't think you'd need anything bigger than 3x3.
Yeah.
It's only, it's only
Quick.
that big.
Whatever they got left in the thing, I'm dropping on.
They might be up this way. Contact them.
No.
No. he says.
Concrete to pull it too.
Yeah.
So someone can't cut it. Or cut it easily.
Well, I mean, it's not like it's gonna be full.
You're gonna put, the people are supposedly going to put their tax, checks in. I think we should try to protect it as much as we can.
Sure, yeah, could electrify them.
But,
Right, exactly. Well, that's why.
That's what he just said.
At the door, but my thing was.
I mean, if we're that,
on the floor,
that
and there's-
concerned, we might as well put cameras up too and.
Yeah.
You know, Josh.
There's security,
You know, an ounce of prevention, Josh.
Hey,
What we should do is we should put cameras.
I wasn't being facetious. I'm pretty serious. I'm sure I have cameras all the way around my sugar house, so.
Yeah,
Okay, so pending files, is that the same as tabled items?
yeah.
Okay, good. Review the mail, done.
Went and done that.
Brigham Academy? Still staying?
Other than clerical, nothing to report. There's just.
No movement,
No movement.
Yeah, not to the left or the right.
not the left and right. Still good then.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Kind of jumping the gun there.
second,
Yeah, but we got John with others. We haven't asked about others. Good.
And it's directed at Tammy.
Oh, there we go.
Christian has not called back.
Oh, you called him?
I called him.
Oh, I'll be seeing him. I can
And I
text
think
him and say,
Oh,
call him.
that'd be
Oh, thank you.
For what?
And I'll give him your.
cut in
cell.
right there.
Put that, cut in.
Yeah.
The David.
Huh?
It's too busy.
He said he's too busy.
They are busy.
Judge Farnsworth, red bearded
Yep,
electric.
red-
Yeah, he actually grew up over on King Road.
Seth's age, no.
Yeah. No, that's
Joanna, Seth,
Seth's.
yeah.
I don't believe so.
No, he's not.
No, this is a younger gentleman,
Right.
He's Ryan's age, which would put him
31, 32.
32, yeah.
Lives in Berkshire now.
Got a couple little boys.
Sanford.
Huh?
His name's- his name-
Close to the line, isn't it?
There's no.
Laws Berkshire.
So if there's no objections.
Okay,
I'll make motions.
For adjournment.
Okay, motion's been made by Terry, seconded by John. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed?
Okay, great. Sheldon.